Welcome to NGR 6372C, Advanced Pediatric Procedures and Diagnostics. I want to give you an introduction of the course for this semester. I'm going to go over the syllabus. I'm going to go over some of the modules that you'll be learning, and I'll also talk about some of the discussion board assignments and quizzes that you'll have for the semester. All right, so let's start with the syllabus. This is your syllabus. I encourage you to read through it. It has a lot of useful information, and it gives you a lot of reminders to set your calendars up for the semester. I will tell you that this is a 3-credit course. There are 20 students in this class, and there are 2 faculty members, myself and Dr. Mani. Just a little bit of background from both of us. We're both pediatric acute care nurse practitioners. We both have experience in the pediatric ICU as bedside nurses as well as nurse practitioners. And we both have some experience with cardiac ICU. We do have our office hours listed here. I'm available on Tuesdays from 10 a.m. to 12 noon. And Dr. Mani is available on Wednesdays, available from 10 a.m. to 12 noon as well. Now, if these times aren't convenient for you or you're working, please reach out to us because we'll always make office hours for you by appointment. Some of you may have noticed that in my signature, you will see that by signature in my email, there is a link to set up time. That link takes into consideration my schedule and my availability, and you can just select the time that works well for you. So if you are comfortable with that, I can send you that link anytime you need it. You do have the course description for this course as well as the objectives. What we would like to provide you for this semester is we would like to make sure you understand the different common procedures for all nurse practitioners. And that will include the suturing, incision and drainage of abscesses, punch biopsies, splinting. We also will do another review of the ENT ear exam. For many of you that are in the primary care track, or if you're in the dual track doing your primary care clinicals, you'll find that is probably one of the most useful tools you'll have in that setting. It's also important for those that are in a pediatric acute care because we don't do it that often. So making sure you have a good understanding and that you have good abilities to access a child's ear to look inside. We also will break down the diagnostics for various different patient presentations. For example, we'll do the complete workup for an infection workup for a child, for an infant, child, and adolescent. For each of the body systems, we'll go through various different studies that are available to you for various different workups. So keep in mind that every week is going to be a little bit different. There's one week we teach you about EKGs, another one we're going to teach you about how to read chest x-rays. We'll also review that on our on-site campus day. And that takes me to my next point. There is a mandatory on-campus day, which is September 22nd. It's a Friday. It's from 8 a.m. to 5 p.m. If you're going to be staying in town, if you're traveling from outside of Gainesville, I would recommend you come the night before. Traffic on campus can be very heavy. I'm not sure if many of you have gone to if you haven't gone to school here in Gainesville, it's your first time in Gainesville. Traffic in the morning, even from some of our closer hotels, can take you upwards to 30 to 40 minutes. So you want to give yourself ample time because we're going to be starting pretty early from 8 a.m. And I have us scheduled until 5 p.m. In the past, we've never stayed that late, but I do give students opportunity to sharpen skills or practice things while they have us on campus and while we're in the sim lab. So be prepared. You'll probably get out a little early. Next, I want to talk about the grading for the course. There are 4 different graded assignments in this course. Your midterm and final evaluation are going to be 30%. The final is not a cumulative final. The midterm will cover weeks 1 through week 8, and then the final will cover the final weeks. So there's not a cumulative total. It is a proctored exam, so I encourage you to go to ProctorU and sign up for your exams this week. Do not wait to sign up for your exams. You could miss the opportunity to schedule an exam, or the only options you may have available to test are at times you're not going to be excited to be tested. That could be 3 o'clock in the morning or 2 o'clock in the morning. So to avoid those issues, I recommend you register through ProctorU, sign up for your exam dates for both the midterm and the final within the next few days, just to make sure you have a proper seat and give yourself proper time. Now, for all of my exams, I do give my students about a day and a half to schedule themselves, and I try to schedule them on Friday, Saturday, which gives people that work Monday through Friday the opportunity to take that exam on a Saturday. And you'll have these dates now, so if you need to make arrangements to switch shifts with your colleagues, please feel free to do so. The discussion board for this course is going to be weekly. I'll talk about that in a little bit more detail. It's going to be run a little bit different than last semester. For those of you that, I think all of you were with me last semester. And then the final portion of the graded activities for this course is the developmental testing. And there's 3 different screening tools that you'll have to complete while you're in clinical and submit those, and then you'll be graded on them. Typically with those, I don't give you, my goal for that portion is for everyone to do those screening tools correctly. So if you don't get it correct the first time, I will send it back to you with comments or with a graded critique so that you could resubmit them. So those can be resubmitted. All of your discussion board assignments are going to be due at, the final discussion board assignment will be due at midnight. And again, I'll talk about that in more detail when I go through the modules. For this course, you, like all your other DNP courses, you need an 84% minimum passing grade. If you are below 84% at any portion of the course, I will go ahead and reach out to you to see what I could do or what opportunities I can provide you to improve your course grade. So keep in mind that if I reach out to you, it's really, I want to make sure that you are successful through the course, and that if there's anything I can do to provide improvement. Textbooks for this course are listed here. There's 3 required courses: the Harriet Lane, the Wallach's Interpretation of Diagnostic Tests, and the Essentials for Procedures for Emergency Room, Urgent Care, and Primary Care. Now, the textbooks, I have required readings for you throughout the semester. These 3 textbooks plus journal articles is what I will provide. There are other textbooks out there. Radiology 101 is a good one to look at the fundamentals of looking at different radiological images. So those are great. And there's some other websites here that might be helpful for you if you're trying to improve your skills. All right. The last portion of the syllabus, we have our weekly course schedule. You will notice that each week there is a section of reading requirements. There will be lectures for most weeks. Not every week has a lecture added to it. And the reason being is that some of them, the videos that we have provided, cover the material. So for example, week 1, you have suturing, wound management, punch biopsy, and splinting. There are videos on each of those which do a phenomenal job teaching you proper suturing technique with good demonstration by a surgeon from Duke. There is wound management and the punch biopsy, all those different videos that are there. So we didn't quite put together an actual me presenting a lecture via video. For most weeks, there will be. There won't be there won't be one for every week. And I will provide an intro video for each week, so you will know if there is or is not a lecture for that week. And I will talk about major talking points that I want you to capture during that week's module. But as you can see here, the dates for each week, each module are listed here, what the topics are. We do have a great variety of different topics. I've also put in some holidays here. I think I did miss the Thanksgiving holiday, which I believe is the 23rd and 24th of this year. So this week will be a short week for you. So if you have any questions about the syllabus or you have any questions about the modules and activities, please do not hesitate and please reach out. I've also listed in your modules, I've put the modules in up to week 5. Week 5 is not complete, and each of these weeks does not have their discussion board topics placed in them yet. I've opened them up so you have an idea of where you can plan your studies and what is due for each week. But I want you to do the module for the week that it's assigned. please try not to get ahead of yourself because the discussion board activity is a group activity. So I want to make sure that you're in line with your groups, right? If you have any questions about the topics or anything like that, or you have a question about a discussion board question or case study, you can always reach out. Navigation through each of the modules will look like this. There's tabs at the top telling you about each of the different sections that we want you to kind of evaluate and move through for the module for that week. So first is the objectives, and I have the objectives broken down for suturing and wound closure, punch biopsy, and splinting. I have your reading assignments here. Anything that's blue and underlined is a link either to an article or a PDF or other web pages. So please make sure you navigate through those. For this week, the first week I don't have an actual presentation that I'm providing because you have excellent videos here on various different procedures that we'll be doing on the sim day. The entire sim day, myself, Dr. Roller, and Dr. Indelicato are going to be helping you do each of these skills and practicing them with you and demonstrating them for you. So I think that's a great opportunity for us to kind of collaborate in that area. And then lastly, these are the different checklists, as you could put it, reading the materials, making sure you watch the videos. I highly encourage you, once you get your suturing packets or your sim lab or your skills lab packet, that you start practicing as soon as you can. Suturing, and like any other skill that we're going to be teaching you, whether it's in this course or other courses, practice is the key thing. Like when we get to the radiology section and you're looking at chest x-rays, I will tell you that one of my attendings told me a long time ago, you're going to have to read 10,000 of these before you get proficient. And I believe he was correct, because the more and more you look, the more and more questions you're going to have, and the more and more you're going to feel comfortable making an accurate diagnosis looking at these images. So I highly recommend you practice all the procedures that we do within the course. You have your upcoming discussion board. I have the first 5 discussion board dates posted here, but every discussion board is ultimately due the Sunday before the next module. So I will go ahead and finish those out here within the next week or so you can have a list of all the presentations prior to. If you want to, you could take a look at the Denver developmental screening, your MCHATs, and your pediatric symptoms checklist. These are the 3 different screening tools that we use. If you are in a clinical environment where you're not seeing a lot of well child visits, then you can actually do these exams either on your own children, on your neighbor's children, nieces and nephews. You basically are going to look for a well child that you can ask these questions to, or have them perform the screening steps so that you can make an actual assessment and turn that in. These are the 3 screening tools that you have to turn in. The module for these tools is actually listed at the end of the semester. However, in the next week or so, I'm going to have that module open for you so that you can actually review that and do these. For your discussion board assignments, we're going to do things a little bit different. Okay. The first thing I want you guys to understand is that each week someone within your group will be listed as the group leader for that module. Week 1, as I mentioned previously, does not have a discussion board. I do want you to do your introductions just to get refamiliar with your classmates. I did ask a few different questions for this semester, but make sure you fill that out for week 1. This week is essentially a short week because we're starting today on the 23rd. So I don't feel that it's fair to do any type of discussion board module. But starting week 2, you could see here there's 4 different groups. These are the first 4 sets of group leaders. And what will take place is on the week of the module that you're assigned to be group leader, you will get your discussion board case studies or questions set up on the beginning of the week. That Monday morning, you will have those available to you. Then what we would like you to do over the next 2 days is to answer those questions or case study questions as the group leader. And then we want you to open the discussion to the rest of your group members. I want each of the group members, and the discussion board leaders should have their initial post done by Wednesday at noon. Now, what we want you to do is provide your response, what you would do, And then I want you to encourage each of your group members to say, what about this step or these additional steps, and talk about what you could do to complete that case study or to complete those questions. So starting at noon on Wednesday, everyone in the group should be trying to review those responses, then look to see, is that the correct process or pathway or diagnostic study or interpretation of that study, and contribute to the discussion. That discussion should go on for the next several days, and everybody should respond to at least 2 other students within your group by that Friday at midnight. And then if the ball goes back to the group leader, and the group leader will write up a summary to put on the discussion board for all the groups to review. And so here's an opportunity where you can take on leadership. As the group leader, the team can actually put together a response to the scenario or answer the questions that are being asked, and then provide a very decent summary. Now, I don't want these to be very long and involved discussions. I also don't want them to be very short and brief discussions. So limit yourself to about a paragraph to 2 paragraphs in response. If you're answering questions, 1 to 2 paragraphs for each question or case study. When you're doing responses back to each other, maybe a paragraph, maybe 2 paragraphs max. But don't feel like you need a ton of discussion unless you feel that it's necessary, right? There may be some opportunities to get a real heated discussion, and I encourage that, but I don't want you to feel like you have to write an extremely long post each week. With your posts in response, either as the group leader or as the rest of the group discussing, I do want you guys to pull up 1 to 2 articles to support your response to the group. Okay. And I want those references in APA format. Okay. And I've put down here everybody's name when they're going to be the group leader. Everyone will have at least 2 opportunities to be the group leader. And some of you will get the opportunity to do it a 3rd time. It just kind of worked out that way. We just didn't have. If you go to the people section on your Canvas page and then select groups at the top, you'll see the different student groups that I've put everybody in, so you could see who your classmates are. I believe there was 1 student I was still waiting for to register for the course to put her in, but hopefully that'll be done. Should be done by today. And that's essentially what we're going to be doing for the semester. If you have any questions at all, do not hesitate. Reach out. Let me know what those questions are, and we can talk about them. I'm more than happy to help anywhere within the course. So if you guys are stuck on answering a question, or if you're having difficulty working through a case study or answering questions for the discussion board, please reach out. I don't typically give study guides for exams. However, if the group feels they need a study guide, we can set up a Zoom conference and we can go over that study guide together. I find that sometimes that is very helpful. But the material that we have in each of the modules is what's going to be on the exam. So you're not going to be hit with stuff that's kind of a curveball or not in the material. I do want you guys to make sure you read through everything, because I may pull questions from one of the journal articles, or I may also pull a question from one of the lectures. So you definitely want to make sure you review all the material and that you're familiar. If you're having any issues with the course, both myself and Dr. Mani are available to you. All right, let's have a great semester. Take care.